Yo, what is going on, guys? Today we're gonna have a quick look at the Pulsar X Demon Slayer collab. What we got right here is the Zenitsu, which is a size 1 as you can tell, or equivalent to a mini shape, and size 2, which is the Inosuke, which is a medium or larger shape. Taking a quick look at the box first, you can definitely tell the design language is aimed at the Demon Slayer and their certain character. For example, we got Inosuke right here, as you can tell, with the nice art of him. On the back of the box, you're going to see the back of the mouse with the specs this mouse is packed with. And on the side, you're going to see the side profile of the mouse. Same design language for the Zenitsu one. You get Zenitsu on the front. It tells you that it's limited to 2000 pieces, and this is the size 1 or the size small. We get an art of Zenitsu on the side. Again, we get the back of the mouse, and we get the side profile. Taking a look at the unboxing experience, let's just open these two up. And as you can tell, this is what the two mice look like. For Inosuke, we got this nice design in this blue and in this darker blue and baby blue colorway. Taking a look at the mouse first, at the design, you're going to see that the Inosuke version has this design of his face mask. It says Demon Slayer right here, and his name on the side again. For the back, these are numbered. This is number 320. Now taking a look at the design of the Zenitsu one, we get this orange to yellow gradient. We get the triangles that are on his coat and as well as on the box. And again, same design language. It says Demon Slayer right here and his name on the side. And for the back again, this is numbered. This is number 1366. Taking a further look at what comes inside the box, for the Zenitsu one, we get the black cable, which is really soft, and USB Type-C. Looks like a USB 3.0, and same for the Inosuke one, also USB 3.0, USB Type-C, and in this nice dark blue. What I figured out is that they match the cable color to the base of these mice, so the Inosuke one is dark blue, so is the cable, and same for Zenitsu, the base is black, so is the cable. Now taking a look at what comes inside the box, you're greeted with two dongles according to the color of your mouse. These dongles also say again the name of the character. As you can tell right here, it says Inosuke, and the size this mouse has, it's the size 2. And for this one, it says Zenitsu, and again, this is the size 1. Sadly, what I have to say about these dongles, these are not 4K compatible, so right out of the box you only get 1K hertz, which I think is a bummer, because the 4K hertz dongle is obviously not color matching according to the Demon Slayer collaboration. Getting back into what's inside the box, we got the Pulsar booklet right here. This again is packed with some stuff, and it matches the color of the certain character you chose. Taking a look inside, you get Pulsar Super Glides, so class gates out of the box. They are branded with the Demon Slayer logo. And what you also get is this trading card kind of thing, where it says what mouse you got, the specifications, that it's limited to 2000 numbers, and again an art on the back. Even the manual is branded with the Demon Slayer characters that they are going to release on future mice. So have a look out on those, and especially I think this is a nice touch overall to the unboxing experience. For the Inosuke one, it's the same. You got the class gates, you got the trading card, and you got the manual. But what I figured out is maybe these cards are limited, because it says limited 99 on this one, and it has a different design compared to the one on Zenitsu's card. Now taking a look at these mice again, like I already said, this one has this orange to yellow gradient with the triangles on it, and Inosuke one, it's pastel blue in this baby blue kind of color with a brown gray type of color at the bottom, probably matching the face mask of Inosuke. For the mouse wheel, these are pretty different. As you can see, the one on the Inosuke one is white with these lines on it, and the one on the Zenitsu one, it's stamped in. You have these small triangles on top of the mouse wheel, and I think they feel and look way nicer than the planned white ring on the Inosuke one. As these have different colors, I definitely also noticed a feel in the coating. The Zenitsu one feels a bit more matte, and it looks also a bit more matte, and it feels a little bit crippier, especially because I have sweaty hands. It feels overall more crippy, and I definitely could use this without any grip tape. For the Inosuke one, this one is a bit more shiny, and I think if you have sweaty hands, it could be a bit problematic, as it's not as crippy as the Zenitsu one, in my opinion. You can definitely see my sweaty fingerprints on here already. As for the overall measurements of these mice, I'll put the graphic on screen right now. Talking about the shape of these mice, I think they're great if you play fingertip or relaxed claw grip, but if you tend to aggressive claw your mice, I think this is not the right shape for you, as the side profile is pretty flat and almost has no curvature, and also you're missing the back hump the X2H kind of has, so I think that you might run into troubles like I did. I have 18 by 11 centimeter hands, and personally it creates a lot of strain on my wrist, especially on the small one when I aggressive claw grip it. Like, I can definitely tell right here that my pinky and my ring finger have to press a lot to get this mouse under control, and I think it's overall way too small. For the size medium or the Inosuke one, I think this one is better if you want to play claw grip, but still I tend to be way more up than on other mice because the back hump is missing. So now that you heard the mouse clicks of these two mice and the scroll wheel and the side buttons, I will talk about these quickly. For mouse 1 and mouse 2, these feel really crispy, almost like a mechanical switch. On the Zenitsu version, I didn't have any issues with those. They felt crispy in game, easily spammable, and I overall really like these. For the mouse wheel, this overall felt really great. The steps are nice and smooth. The mouse wheel click with the Pulsar Blue encoder is also really nice and really responsive. And the side buttons, they are perfect in my opinion. No pre or post travel. Everything was fine with these. However, I seem to have some issues with the Inosuke version of these mice because mouse 1 feels crispy like on the Zenitsu one, but Mousepad 2 feels a bit sticky and almost heavy, as well as the mouse button. So I think there might be some issue under the Mousepad 2, maybe the grip, like the small sticker thingy that they put inside, I don't know. For the side buttons, these felt perfect. And also for this one, I had a little bit of issues with pre-travel as it reacts differently on certain areas of these mice. Like if you press in the middle, it almost reacts instantly, but if you press further in the front, which I do with my claw grip, it definitely takes a little bit more time to react. And for the stubby grip test, these feel absolutely amazing. There's almost no flex, they're really stiff. Same with the small one. Yeah, I would say the build quality strength-wise is really good. Looking at the sensor, both mice are equipped with the 3395. The sensor felt really great. I didn't have any issues with tracking across multiple mouse pads, and overall they felt really great. These mice are also 4K Hz ready, like I already said, but the dongle is not included, and the one you get from Pulsar is just a generic black one or translucent one, if I'm not too sure about it. But I think that's really sad and almost a bummer because these mice come with special colored dongle, and then you have to use a black one just to get 4K Hz to work. I think they could have included that right out of the box. As for the skates of these mice, they are both equipped with PTFE feet. The one on the Inosuke one feel really smooth, and I think I would have used them right out of the box like that. I wouldn't think about swapping these out any day. And for the Zenitsu one, I think there might be something wrong with them because when I go over the pad, they feel a lot more like they don't feel as smooth as the one on the Inosuke copy. Maybe it's because they are larger on the Inosuke one, or it's the overall larger mouse. But on the Zenitsu one, it feels a bit muddy or weird. And I think you could fix this with swapping these out. Taking a look at the software of the Pulsar X2V2, you can definitely see it looks really clean. I also didn't have any issues with it, so we're going to select the mouse right here, and you can see there are multiple settings. You can see the percentage your mouse has, set the debounce time, auto sleep function, motion sync, different assignments, and you can obviously change the performance. So you can change your DPI, you can change your DPI stages, you can change the polling rate. Like I said, only 1K hertz right here because I don't have the 4K hertz dongle. You can change the lift off distance, ripple, angle snapping, different mouse settings like window settings, and you can also set macros. Going back to the main window of the software, I'm going to show the settings that I use because I personally think that these are the best mouse settings, especially if you play FPS games. So personally, in the first tab, I would set the debounce time to 0 milliseconds. As the mouse has optical switches, you shouldn't actually have any double clicking issues. So play around with that. If you have double clicking, which shouldn't be possible, then maybe set this number a bit higher. Personally, I would recommend it using 0 ms for the lowest latency. For the auto sleep function, I would set this to the maximum, as you don't want your mouse to go to sleep while you're taking a quick bathroom break or something, as this could cause wake up issues with the mouse itself. Personally, I didn't have any wake up issues with this mouse. I would just go safe, as it takes some seconds for the mouse to register again. Over the performance tab, you can see the different DPI settings. I personally would recommend something over 1600 DPI if you play any FPS games, as tracking is way smoother. I'll put in a graphic as for why that is, and you can obviously test around with it. There are pro players who play on 400 DPI, but I don't think it makes a huge difference. But for me personally, tracking on 1600 DPI feels pretty nice. And you can also set the DPI stages. So you could use the DPI switch button, for example, to have 400 DPI for your game and 800 DPI for normal tasking in Windows. So for the polling rate, I would set this to 1K hertz minimum. If you have the 4K hertz dongle, you gotta play around with it. As for some games, they don't support 4K hertz, and it could cause some stuttering issues or something similar like that. I can't speak out of experience for this one though, especially because I haven't tested the 4K hertz dongle on the Pulsar. For the mouse parameters, I would personally leave these as they are. For the lift off distance, I personally would use 2 millimeters, even though 1 millimeter felt fine. I didn't have any lift off distance issues. If you have a smaller mousepad, then maybe you could use 1 millimeter, or if you have a smaller desk. A mousepad this size, which is a typical XL mousepad, like 470 by 420 millimeters, you should be fine using it at 2 millimeters lift off distance. You have enough space to adjust, and I think that overall it gives a nicer or more accurate aiming experience. But this is all personal preference, so check out what you like. Oh, and there's one thing I forgot. Under the button assignment, you have motion sync. I personally would recommend turning this off. It can cause some stutters or FPS hits. Same with the 4K hertz that I mentioned. This actually doesn't really improve the overall experience, in my opinion. I think switching to a higher DPI does though. As for the battery life, like with the settings that I showed in the last clip, both mice lasted around 3 to 4 days in intensive use, even though I have to admit it was a pain using the Zenitsu small one, because my wrist was like burning. Like, I'm not even joking. Like these mice are not made for claw grip at all, or at least for my hand size. I wouldn't recommend them. In conclusion though, I would say that the Demon Slayer collaboration features a great design, super unique unboxing experience that I haven't had with any other mice in a long time. As for the overall quality, I think though that I got hit with bad luck on the Inosuke copy. However, the Zenitsu one, except the mouse feed, feels pretty great in my opinion. And I think if this would have been an X2H, I would have definitely kept these. So who would I recommend these mice to? If you play fingertip grip or a really relaxed claw grip, almost a fingertip, and you have a similar hand size as I do, I would recommend you going with the medium, as the size 1 or the small one is definitely way too small. If you play fingertip grip or a relaxed claw grip and have a similar hand size as I do, I would recommend you pick the size 2, which is the Inosuke one, or the medium shaped Pulsar. And for smaller hands than I have, if you really like small mice and play fingertip grip, I would definitely recommend the size 1. For claw grip, however, I can't really recommend both of these, as the hump is definitely way too flat and the curvature is a bit too aggressive for my liking. Also, the flat side profiles, they are really a hit or miss, like either you like that or you don't. For me personally, it didn't work out. Other than the small QC issues I had with the Inosuke one, the Zenitsu, except the skates, which also kind of is a QC issue, I guess, felt pretty flawless. And I would 100% recommend you get either one of these, even if you have some extra cash, just to put them on display if you're a fan of the anime or the overall design, as they look really great. They did an outstanding job, like I said, with the design, and I think need more of that. More companies need to dip out and do something more colorful, more playful, so we don't end up with black mice all around. As this was my first video, I would totally be happy if you could comment what I could do better, what should I go over next time I do a review, and overall how you liked the video. If you also got any of these new Pulsar Demon Slayer collab mice, I would appreciate a comment how your copies were. If you also had some QC issues, or overall how you like the shape, what hand size you have, and what grip style you play. I think that's quite interesting to see and maybe helpful to other people, so I would completely appreciate that, as that is how I go over buying things as well. And as this was my first review, I would also appreciate if you guys could comment how you liked the review or what I could do better next time. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.